Hey everybody, welcome to one of my more important training videos here where we transition into working in inches and dealing with different things like line weighting drawings so you can distinguish the difference between drawing lines and measurement lines when we work and print and adding some title information so you can label and date and explain what's going on within drawings. And then we're going to use this thing over and over again with some oncoming work here as we work with the remainder of the field, fireplace, door and window, and furniture drawings. So let's get started here. We're going to look at this starting off with making sure we are in the right template format. And you gotta open a ACAD format, so we're working with inches, otherwise everything is going to be messed up if you're in millimeters still, as my previous student work has been done in. So then the next step is to save immediately, so you're not going to lose anything. The students are going to be in their U drives doing this, saving it as title block with your name and period number. And then, before we move on, we're going to change the measurement settings. So when we start putting dimensions on here, everything looks right. We're going to type in DIMSDY for our dimension style menu. Modify the settings to change our primary units here. This is what we've got to look at. Two changes here. Changing the decimal values to fractional, so you can see it in fractions there, and changing the precision to the third one down in the list. So everything is seen as you would see normal dimensions like we have on our measurements. I'm going to move up. Well, first thing I want to show you how to do is start drawing is docking everything on our 0, 0 on our coordinates. So when we type in line, the first thing you'll see is specify the first point. You don't have to just click. You can type in the number 0, dab 0. And it's going to start you at your 0, 0 there on your coordinates. Facing straight to the right, you're going to type in 11 for 11 inches, hit enter, and you can either go up 8 1/4 or 8.25 here. I want you to see the measurements and fractions, so it's 8 minus symbol or dash there, and then 1/4 if you're going to type in measurements and fractions. 11, and then we can just close this off. I'm going to show you how to do some line tracking in a second to put in lines. The easiest way, however, to deal with this right side column set is to offset lines. Offset is all these tools up here have their quirks. You have to click the first offset line 3 times to get it started, and then you can type in 1/4 for your offset. After you do that once, you just have to click one more time to offset again, 1/4, enter. All right, and just to show you the other way you can track and set up lines is by going to a point, like we're going to split this right side column into 3 equal parts, and I have to go up 2 3/4 inches and separate a line here. If you go over a point on a line and you start dragging upward or downward or whatever direction you need to get this dotted line here, you can type in the measurement that you're going to start the next line at, 2 3/4, enter, and it's going to bring that starting point up 2 3/4 up that line, and just click to the and just click there, enter. So that's splitting those columns into 3 equal parts. The other thing you can uses your midpoint tracking. If you start to draw a line with midpoint tracking on, you hover over the midpoint of a line here. We just got to split this one column into 2 parts, so we can just use midpoint. Alright, now let's talk about the line weights. Line weight has to be turned on. This button needs to be turned on by checking this menu and this menu. So you open this menu and you turn the line weight menu on by putting the check in front of it. That launches this button. So you can always turn that on and off. Now you're going to click on one side, let go, and then click on the opposite end and select all your objects and go over here by layer and change your line weight. You won't see anything unless you turn the button on and off. That's for print purposes only, but it's important because when it comes to line weighting, you want to be able to see the difference between your lines in your drawing and your measurements. You need to have everything in your drawing parts thicker so you can not mistake lines and measurements. Whoop, here we go. So anyway, those are weighted now. We selected them. We weighted them to 1 millimeter. We have our line weight button on here. We can put some measurements on here now. We can add our dimensions by clicking line once, moving away about a grid block. And then chaining measurements like these on the right side here are done by clicking to endpoints. And snapping them together. I want to redo that one because it's just a little too funny looking. Went off on an angle on me. Okay, the other 2 measurements on the drawing, on the handout, are here. I'll point out one thing you can do. Since these don't quite fit so well, when you place measurements, you can toy around with them a little bit, and you can double click it and you can change the measurement over here, and you can reduce it to something smaller until you can maybe get it to fit. So you just double click it, whoop, double click it, get this command, type in 0.4, let's call it. All that did was allow me to put it in a more accurate position, shrinking it down so it didn't push it out alongside. You can just twice click on things and change both the location and sizing. Getting a little finicky. But it is. Anyhow, the last thing here is the text boxes, and I'm just going to do one to show you. We have to put in 4 different text blocks, so I'll do one field and or one line of text and then copy it to make my life easier. So like date. because you have to modify this, you have to shrink it down just a little bit. Make sure that this is also 0.18. Rather than doing that all over again, you can hit copy, paste, and then click where you want to paste, and just have 4 more copies. Paste, click, paste, click, paste, click. That way you can just change what it says and use each block for the individual fields. Now I'll show you just how to rotate and move these. You're just going to rotate by clicking rotate. Okay. I'm going to do that over again because really if you click rotate, you have to select the object, then hit enter, and then click a place for it to rotate on, and then it'll spin. Just so you can see how that's done for the other ones. And then move is similar, where you click on the object that you want to move, hit enter, and then you have to click a place where you're going to move it from. Grab it from a corner. The closer you get when you place text or move anything, the better. Whoop. Strange how that did that, but hey, if you zoom in and get it right, not in the perfect place, move it again. It's not a big deal. Take your time, get it right, because I'm going to use this for all of your drawings. This is one of those things you do once. You'll have multiple things drawn and placed into this, so you're going to use it over and over again. When you're done modifying these, save it, and you're done with this particular drawing.